home game of the regular season here at Widener Field, and it's going to have a playoff feel to it as the Oakland Roots, desperate for points in a race for the last playoff spot, visit a Colorado Springs Switchbacks club angling to secure a home playoff game. Alongside Jose Rodriguez, I'm Joe Malva, happy to have you along tonight for a broadcast presented by Fox 21. And with that, we take a look at the Western Conference standings. Mathematically, Colorado Springs can't clinch a home playoff game tonight. Logically, they can. More on that later. Oakland, on the other hand, in a dogfight for that last playoff spot. They need this one after RGV beat Charleston last night.
Absolutely. It is a big matchup for Oakland. Think about it. 3 points, you get to 42. You closing the gap with RGV. But as well for Colorado Springs, it's an opportunity not only to secure a spot in the playoffs, but about thinking second place in the conference.
And they have to get the bad taste out of their mouth of the last few games. 3 straight losses. You can't go into the postseason on that type of run.
Well, absolutely. You need to change something. You need to regain some of that momentum that he had early on in the season. I think the last 3 matches are not exactly what we come to expect from Colorado Springs, and they have the time and the quality to turn things around.
Now on the other side, the Oakland Roots have done a better job of late. Defensively, they're going to have their hands full with tonight's Modelo player to watch, Mishi Galina.
Without a doubt. And with no Hadji Barry, we obviously think about Galina. He's a player that can carry that responsibility, but he's going to need some help. It's about the collective effort. We think about Galina, but he needs a support system that is good for him tonight.
That recent defensive prowess from the Oakland Roots has led them to 2 consecutive clean sheets. They have not had that happen at all this season. They're hoping to ride that into these last few games of the season. 2 straight wins, 2 straight clean sheets, playing the best they have in the last couple of months.
Well, you know, very important players showed up in the last few games for them, and it all starts with Lindo and Feka. Beautiful goal here, by the way. But he has been so good for him on the right side, and maybe with Carlson not being as effective in front of goal, then you have that support system, those role players that appear at the right place at the right time for them.
It's been a bit of a dry spell for Carlson, but he still does have 16 goals on the season. They need more from him if they want to get their noses ahead of that playoff line.
If Oakland Roots are thinking about the playoffs, they should start with Otto Carlson scoring a lot more in the last few matches. So hopefully it's a good start for him tonight.
Brendan Burke looked at tonight as the best chance for Colorado Springs to secure a home playoff game, and no place like home to get that done as they host the Oakland Roots for the 2nd time this season. It's the Switchbacks against the Roots, and it's coming up next on ESPN+.
You know, it says out of workshop for a reason.
I'm so sorry to bother you, boss, but
They moved the World Cup.
to the holidays.
Wait, like the actual World Cup? To my holiday season? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
There's Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, but that's my time to shine. I mean, how am I supposed to compete with that? You know what? Get Blitzen on the phone. I got to get back up there right now. I gotta go.
We are Southern Colorado.
Saturday during the summers was our get up and go to Monument Lake fishing. From a little hobby as an 11-year-old kid, it's turned into quite a business.
Our stories matter.
If they're on the trails, if they're in the woods, if they're anywhere, I can be with them now.
Bringing you the most local news.
All of the people that are doing this type of agriculture are trying to do a better thing for society.
We are Fox 21, and together we are Southern Colorado.
Think you know football? Well, here's your chance to prove it. Enter our Fox 21 High West Siding and Windows Pro Football Challenge. One lucky national grand prize winner will get a trip for 2 to beautiful Hawaii or $5,000 in cold hard cash. Local weekly winners will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Plus, at the end of the football season, one local winner will get a big screen TV. Go to fox21news.com today to enter your picks and check back weekly to see how you match up against other fans in Southern Colorado.
Today's player walkout is sponsored by Children's Hospital Colorado. Teams making their way out onto the field for a crucial matchup in the Western Conference playoff race. Colorado Springs needs it for their chances at a home playoff game. Oakland needs it to make the playoffs, period. And with that, we take a look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Phil Long. For Brendan Burke, still dealing with a lot of injuries, but still a lot of talent on the field.
Absolutely, a 3-4-3 formation. Obviously, King and Anderson through the wings. They can switch sides very easily. Echeverria and Mill in the middle, they provide that stability. They help in the build-up, but as well defensively. And at the top, we mentioned Galina earlier. Amo and Wheeler, they can switch sides as well. So look out for Wheeler to be the main guy inside the box.
Noah Delgado sends out a 3-4-3 of his own, and it's been much better defensively lately.
Yeah, much better, but I think that comes with consistency as well. We have seen almost the same lineup every single game for the last month and a half, maybe. And, you know, that gives them a lot of flexibility as well with Formella at the top, and Carlson and Mfeka can move around offensively. So a very dynamic team.
J.C. Griggs in charge of this one tonight. When these teams met earlier in the season, there were opportunities early in the match for Oakland to take a lead. They squandered those opportunities, and they paid for it. They ended up faltering and losing 3-0 at home against Colorado Springs. Can they return the favor tonight? It's Oakland in the green and yellow from left to right. It's Colorado Springs in the black and blue from right to left. We are inside of a month to the end of the regular season. Everything heating up now across USL Championship. Final home match of the season at Widener Field for the Switchbacks. And they're hoping there's at least one more home game come the postseason. They can take a big step to earning that tonight, and we are underway. Oakland had the mid-year coaching change, of course. Juan Guerra out, Noah Delgado in, but not much has changed. Early chance here, wow! Oh. Inside of 30 seconds, Elvis Amo. No better way to start than that.
Wow, I'm gonna clock that at 23 seconds. But what a start and what a shot. It's a long ball. The clearance is not necessarily there from Fuenmayor, but a great read from Elvis running forward. An early strike prevents Paul Blanchett being in the right place at the right time, although that's an impossible shot to stop as well. Beautiful goal.
I mean, if you could find a goalkeeper on the planet that would have stopped that shot,
right,
send him anybody's way because they would love to sign him. That is terrific from Elvis Amo. It's his 13th goal of the season, and for number 23, it comes 23 seconds into the game.
And that's exactly the start that you were hoping for if you're Brendan Burke. You know, having that energy of playing the last home match of the regular season. This is obviously a match that Colorado Springs wants to win. And man, they are off to a great start.
We touched on some of the offensive woes that they've been experiencing lately, a power outage of sorts. Typically see them pouring in 3 goals a game, 4 goals a game at times when Haji Berry and Michi Galina have been at their best, but they've been held without a goal in each of the last 2 games, both 1-0 losses. Prior to that, they had 4 straight games where they only scored 1 goal. So this is a team, Colorado Springs, that has scored 4 goals in the last 6 games when we've been accustomed to seeing them sometimes score 4 goals in 1 game.
Absolutely, that is unusual for this team, and not only thinking about the 2022 season, but last year as well, they did score a lot. They had problems defensively. They were able to fix those this year.
Galina fizzes it across, nobody there. Much too strong on it. When you're struggling offensively, sometimes it takes a moment of brilliance to spark more. Elvis Amo supplied it.
Yeah, it's going to be very important for Colorado Springs to, you know, still, you know, be an aggressive side, right? Because you have the lead very early, but we still have 88 minutes to play. So, you know, we're a long way from done here, and so they need to keep that intensity up, maybe get that second goal, and that will set a tone for Oakland Roots. They have the capability, talking about Oakland Roots, of coming back. There's no doubt about it.
We had all these stats here we were going to talk about. in terms of Oakland's clean sheet streak, back-to-back clean sheets. That number was up near 200 straight minutes. All it took was 23 seconds, and they're in danger again. No penalty called. I'm sure somewhere Brendan Burke is smirking and wishing there was more. They were on the wrong side of a couple of penalty non-calls against San Antonio last week. And it was a performance overall that he wasn't unhappy with. He felt against San Antonio there were good moments, and they were getting back to doing some of the things offensively that have worked for them all season long in a game that didn't really favor their style. San Antonio, he called it a rugby match, essentially, where the whistle's blowing every 2 seconds, the ball is always in the air, and they're a team who likes to put it on the deck and play. He was proud of the way they fought, the way they created chances, and felt they were hard done not to have a couple penalties in their favor, only to have one called against them to decide the game.
Well, yeah, it's, you know, it was a difficult matchup, but I think, you know, playing against San Antonio for any team, honestly, in the USL Championship, it's not going to be an easy matchup. And you know, when you're talking about penalties and things not going your way, then that makes it even harder.
Prior to that San Antonio game, he did feel they laid an egg against RGV. In the course of a long season, you're going to have games like that, yes, and it's a matter of how you respond from it and move on. So very unhappy with the RGV performance, happier with San Antonio, and they looked at tonight as almost a must-win of sorts, so they can have some breathing room in earning that home playoff game, solidifying it. Top of the broadcast, I mentioned they can't mathematically do that tonight, but logically speaking, a win would put them in that spot. If they win tonight, they would have to lose each of their last 2 games, and New Mexico would have to win all 4 of its final remaining games. So for all intents and purposes, a win tonight would give Colorado Springs a home playoff game.
Yeah, and you know, obviously that's very important, but as well having that opportunity at home of gaining back some of that momentum, I think that's key as well tonight.
Formella for Hernandez, and back again. Hernandez takes a tumble. Now it's Charlie Dennis. Advantage played by J.C. Griggs. Here's Mafeka. Not too far removed from a brace against Phoenix. Carlson coming off a goal. Here's Amo. Mishi Galina. Good step by Barbier. It's going to be a battle all night long. No official word on the absence of Haji Berry, not on the injury report. Did not play last game and not in the 18 tonight. So 2 consecutive games after playing each of the first 30 where they don't have Haji Berry. Hernandez, Dennis taken down.
Looks like a late tackle here. That point, a little bit slow with the ball, Dennis, and I think it's a good call in the end. You have to move the ball a lot faster. If not, you're putting yourself in harm's way because you know Amo will go for that ball.
That's been an issue at times this season for Oakland. Indecisive at the back, a little bit too slow. Had some giveaways that have led directly to goals. And that might be some frustration there from Charlie Dennis. He got his payback, but he also got a yellow card for it.
All right, obviously the first yellow card of the match. It's very early, especially in the middle. Well, looks like
maybe for just kicking the ball away after the fact.
Is that just for kicking the ball away? I think that's, I don't know.
It looked initially like he might have made contact, but from that angle, it might have just been for kicking the ball away after the fact, and that's very harsh, very early on.
Very harsh. You know, obviously this is a decision that right now in the 8th minute, it might seem insignificant, but second half, get another yellow card and then, you know, it really matters.
Especially for Charlie Dennis, who's had that happen to him this year against Los Dos on the road. He picked up 2 first-half yellow cards, and they played down a man the whole second half, and that yellow card was brought to you by Diversus Health. versus health, mental health, and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
Yeah, playing down a man in USL Championship, it's no easy task. Let me tell you, it's really hard to come back from something like that. So Dennis needs to be really, really careful. And but yeah, I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I don't know if that's the right call at that time, but now you have to play with it.
Cam Lindley back into the starting 11 tonight for the Switchbacks. 2 goals and 9 assists on the season. Serving one up here from the free kick that Blanchette had read the whole way. His last appearance, Lindley, was his 100th in USL Championship. Early this season, maybe to the midpoint as well, he was in that MVP conversation. In this league, we're so used to having that conversation centered upon the Golden Boot winner, because typically, if you're winning the Golden Boot, your team is probably in a good standing, and MVP comes with that. This year, the Golden Boot winner in Milan Olaski, in all likelihood, is going to be on the last place team. So it's anybody's guess who the MVP is this year. It's certainly not going to be Olaski. We've got a couple of shouts here and there for players who maybe typically wouldn't get that shine, and Lindley was one of them until the midpoint of the season. It's maybe waned a little bit as the Switchbacks' performance has waned, but still a terrific player. Last year for San Antonio, this year for the Switchbacks, just controls the whole middle of the field.
That's a very good conversation right there. Who's the MVP in 2022? Man.
I am partial to finally giving it to a defender in Mitch Tainer in San Antonio. I think this is finally the year, being that there is no top scorer on a top team who quite deserves it. Well, we can spend the whole remaining 80 minutes on that conversation, so maybe we should nip it in the bud there.
Right.
Jose Hernandez feeds it wide. Juan Asokar tracks it down. Asokar drives it toward the far post. Not sure if that was a shot or a hopeful ball for Carlson. It split the difference, and it's out for a goal kick.
Well, it's a good sign for Oakland. For the first time, they have been able to push the ball through the left side. It was not necessarily a good cross, but a good idea, though. You want to look for Carlson inside the box. Even with defenders around him, he has proven to be a pretty good target. Plenty of room for Asokar to bring that ball in, but no connection inside the box.
7 goals and an assist this year for Asokar. Eduardo Rito, 5 goals and 7 assists. So you've got a dozen goals and 8 assists from your wingbacks for the Roots. And Brendan Burke said 50% of this week's training sessions were dedicated toward stopping those 2 guys, with specific regard to Rito, a little bit more active up the right side, and Asokar is up the left side. That's a testament to the identity of the Roots and the scouting they did to bring those 2 players in, that you're at this point of the season, you have a 16-goal scorer on the field at Carlson, and the opposition is more worried about your wingbacks.
Well, absolutely. I think, you know, the group of players that Oakland Roots has been able to work on during the whole season, they have gotten better individually, but that comes first with a collective effort, and I think that's part of the system, that it really works for them with those 3 center backs, and then Rito and Asokar having that responsibility to move forward, but as well being conscious that at some point during the game they have to play good defense. Not only bringing presence in the back, but playing good defense.
Edwards gets it back into play. His 5th start of the season. Also a 2nd start for Sebastian Anderson on that back line. Those 2 both came on loan from Colorado Rapids, had both previously been loaned in past years to Switchbacks, but now this year with the advent of MLS Next Pro, the Rapids were able to just push them onto their 2 side in Next Pro. Now that season's over, they get loaned to Switchbacks, so the Switchbacks get some much needed help and a boost going into the postseason. Anderson plays it inside to Wheeler. Lindley runs off of it. Here's Lindley, puts it wide. Brilliant interplay. Lindley can't believe he missed it.
Wow, without a doubt, a missed opportunity here for the home side, but the build-up is just beautiful. The combination is perfect around the box. The pass is just outstanding from Wheeler. A tall center back, striker. You don't expect that from him. You want him to finish, but this time a beautiful setup. Unfortunately, Lindley unable to put the final touch there.
he looked like he went with the outside of his boot, hoping to curl it near post around Blanchett. I'm wondering if that was the best decision.
Yeah, maybe a left-footed shot will give him a better angle, though, I think. But, you know, it comes down to trust at that point, and he felt that was the way to go. Still close, but, you know, it's just a beautiful setup, a beautiful build-up play.
Brilliant ball through the other way now from Mafeka to Rito. Rito in front, still loose, and now cleared. Formella had a chance at it. Erdman got rid of it. Naka King was also there to help with the scramble, and now it's Galena. This game opening up a bit here, a quarter of an hour in, end-to-end action, and that last touch fails Galena.
I think it's fair to say we're having a pretty good start to the match. I think both teams are going for 3 points. Another beautiful ball on the right side, looking for Rito. It's about the final touch at this point for both teams. Here's the ball. It's a beautiful pass. Just a few seconds before the ball comes in. But again, the final touch is not there, just similar to what happened with Lindy a few minutes ago. This could very easily be a 2-1 game at this point.
The yellow card has been issued to Lindo Mafeka, sponsored by Diversis Health, Mental Health, and Wellbeing for All. Remember to take a moment to take a breath.
So another yellow card. For Oakland, you have to keep the concentration here. Stay in the game. Forget about the referee. They're already down a goal. It's a big, big game for them in terms of their playoff hopes.
Brendan Burke sort of intimated at the fact the game would go this way. He felt that Oakland is a perfect dance partner, if you will, for Colorado Springs. Both teams like to put the ball on the deck, spread it out. They play similar styles.
Right.
Whereas, again, last game, San Antonio loves to slow it down. A lot of fouls. They use fouls to their advantage almost in the way they press you, and the ball's always in the air. These teams, you can probably count on one hand the amount of times they put it in the air so far. And now it's turned over by Oakland. Here's Amo, 1 goal already. Amo wanting to make it 2. Puts it right into Fuenmayor.
Well, you know, tactically they're set up very similarly. And the one thing that, you know, maybe it's different about Oakland, it's, we've done a soccer, they're a little bit more aggressive through the wings. But especially, you know, at home, Colorado Springs, they can be very, very effective. And obviously tonight off to a good start. I think it's a matter of how big a difference can Willer make inside the box for them. That's going to be a deciding factor tonight as well.
Rito pressuring. That's the other thing about Rito. Beside the speed, beside the talent, the battery never drains.
Oh, yes.
What he just did there in the 16th minute, he will do in the 96th minute. Dennis with the wand of a left foot. You can never leave him that open, but he leaves it over the bar.
For Oakland, you know, this is good news right here, because you were able to find some ground. Let Dennis take that shot, even if it's not on goal. But you know, it will bring a little bit of a, you know, another option. Let's put it that way, offensively, not only going through the wings. So that creates a little bit of an inconsistency within the system that Colorado Springs has been able to put in play. In terms of, okay, we're going to go through the wings. We know they're going to go through the wings, so we're going to work hard on that. If you bring Dennis through the middle, that's another player that can very easily score on you.
He was brought in the offseason when Juan Guerra was the head coach, and going back to when Juan was in charge and we had a chance to chat with him. The reason they were so hot after Dennis is because they saw him as somebody who could play the 6, 8, 10, or as a striker.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see the versatility on a night like tonight when Matias Visore is not 100% and not starting, when Joseph Nane is not 100% and coming off the bench. They need somebody to play next to Jose Hernandez. Insert Charlie Dennis.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that versatility is something that coaches love, and unfortunately nowadays it's not that common. And so, you know, whenever you get an opportunity to have a player like that, you cannot pass on it.
Plays it ahead to Carlson, brings it down. Carlson waiting for support, finds Rito. Blocked down to Mafeka. Forced the other way after Mahoney blocked the shot. Dennis didn't sense the pressure from Galena, had to rush the pass, but does well to win it back. Asokar charging at the back line. King steps in. Asokar puts it wide. A surprise shot with the left foot. Oakland has grown into this game after going down just 23 seconds in.
Yeah, and I think it all starts with Dennis, even though it's not a good pass from him initially, but he goes quickly to recover the ball. He's able to do so, and with that, he's setting up a soccer on the left side. Not 100% sure if he was looking for a shot or a cross there, but regardless, I think it was a little bit of an in-between decision, and right there, honestly, for Carlson, and as well for a shot to the far post.
3 other games going on at the moment around USL Championship. Miami FC hosting Monterey Bay is the only one with major implications in the Western Conference playoff race. It's scoreless in the 65th minute. You've got Monterey Bay looking to do what Oakland did last year, and that's rise from the depths of a poor start to still make the postseason. In the live table, RGV, 42 points in 30 games, your last playoff team. Monterey Bay, 40 points in 30 games, your 8th seed, just on the outside looking in. Here's Amo, takes a deflection into the arms of Paul Blanchette. Also Pittsburgh up 1-0 on Orange County. And Detroit and Tulsa are tied at half, 2 Eastern Conference opponents. More to come later on in USL Championship. Decision day is October 15th. We are just 3 weeks away. 2 more games after this for the Switchbacks. Both of those are on the road against El Paso and New Mexico, 2 teams chasing them for a home playoff game. As we mentioned earlier, a win in this one would essentially clinch a home playoff game for Colorado Springs. Have to deal now with a free kick.
Including in that exciting playoff race in the West are 2 very good coaches. Wilmer Cabrera with RGV and Frank Yallop with Monterey. They're both doing a tremendous job, because only a few weeks ago we were not thinking about RGV or Monterey as playoff teams.
RGV did this last year too. Seemed like with a month left, they were way out of the picture. They got on their horse, they rode all the way into the postseason, and then they upset Phoenix in the first round. I don't think Dennis could be thinking about goal from here, but that left foot is terrific. Let's see what he has in mind. He chips it. Maybe he should have shot it in the end. Didn't quite work out. Edwards took an awkward tumble. Or Erdman, pardon me. Seemed innocuous enough, just that last step right there.
Yeah, you can see it. It's about to take the second to last step. He's just shielding the ball, honestly. He's very well positioned.
And that's the last thing Brendan Burke wants to see. He doesn't even have a full 18 tonight. He only has 5 outfield players on the bench. There are 5 players missing right now. They're not sure exactly when they're going to get them back. Over the course of the season, they've had 9 different injuries in which players missed 5 or more games. It's hard to find another team in the league that has been as ravaged by injuries as the Switchbacks. Yet here they are in position to still get a home playoff game.
Home playoff game, second place in the conference. It's realistic for them at this point, and especially if they get 3 points tonight. You know, it's a really great job from Brendan Burke and the entire coaching staff.
A reminder, if they win tonight, they would need to lose the final 2 games and have New Mexico win their final 4 games to fall out of a home playoff spot. They know that, and Brendan Burke is hoping they can make it count tonight. Just get the win, get it out of the way. He said it's a triage situation right now with all the injuries they have. And they have a 10-day break between now and the El Paso game, and then a 10-day break between the El Paso game and New Mexico game. And they are content to rest players those last 2 games, according to Berg, knowing what it would mean to have them recharged and healthy for the postseason. They're not at all worried about whether they finish 2, 3, or 4, as Dennis seems to have a cut they're trying to patch up there on the sideline. That's the delay. They're not worried, Colorado Springs, about 2, 3, or 4, because there's no real ability to position yourself against a specific opponent. You can't say, oh, let's be the 3 seed because the 6 seed is easier. It's anybody's guess who's going to finish where at the bottom of the Western Conference playoffs. You can't jockey for a specific matchup you hope for. You just got to get the home playoff game, and that's it. You take it from there, and they know that. So if they can lock it up with a victory tonight, they are content to rest guys the last couple of games, whether it's 2, 3, or 4. As long as they're playing game number 1 of the postseason on this turf, they're happy.
And that's all you have guaranteed, to be honest. You have 1 game if you're in the playoffs, and right after that, as we all know, playoffs in USL Championship, you know, it's win or go home. And so it's you know, it's not an easy scenario for any team. Obviously, you want to play as many home matches as possible in the postseason. We'll see if they can accomplish second place in the conference, and if that happens, you know, it doesn't guarantee more than 1 game.
Erdman went back down to a knee. Seemed like he tried to give it a go, and now it's a question of can he go? And again, just with a team that has been absolutely ravaged by injuries, this is the last thing Brendan Burke wanted to see.
This is where you have to be really careful. Is there a reason to risk it at this point?
Erdman, the 31-year-old from Germany, had spent his entire pro career, 328 appearances in Germany before joining the Switchbacks this season. Has made now 15 starts, and it's not body language you hope to see.
Yeah,
as soon as he got over the line, he goes down.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Joe, but, you know, you have to think big picture here. Still have a lead. It's a very important part of that backline as well.
Back to the action. They're playing 10v10 right now until Dennis gets waved back on, as they were patching up the cut on his knee. So for the moment, 10v10. Dennis still being held on the sideline. Now he's waved on. So Oakland at the moment up a player until the Switchbacks decide whether or not to officially sub Erdman off. They exploit the numerical advantage in the meantime. Asokar. Back to Formella. Formella into Mafeka. Some contact there, not enough to elicit a whistle from J.C. Griggs. Rito whips it in. And sent back where it came from. Erdman really struggling there. For a moment, he was in the center of your screen. And they are readying a change. It's going to be Tristan Hodge into the match for Dennis Erdman. That probably puts Hodge on the left wing and makes it a middle 3 of Edwards, Mahoney, and Maka King. Substitutions brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. Jose, it's an injury list that coming into the night had Ockford, Mines, Halsey, Johnson, and Foster unavailable. Zandy questionable, he's on the bench. Issa Ryan and Aaron Wheeler were also questionable. Well, the question for Wheeler was answered, he started. Ryan on the bench, so we don't know necessarily how long he can go. Same goes for Zandy. But there were 5 unavailable injured players, 4 of those concussions coming into the night.
It's just incredible. It's hard to believe it. I mean, think about concussions. You get 1 or 2 in the roster, and then you're thinking already, what's going on here? You got 5?
That's just bad luck at that point.
Yeah,
And it's been that way all season. Again, the number that Brendan Burke threw out at us, 9 different players this season have suffered injuries that cost them 5 games or more. And that's not even counting, again, the little ones, little niggles here and there that cost you 2 games, 3 games. Just big injuries that cost you 5 or more. It's happened 9 times.
And, you know, maybe in the long run, this becomes a positive because that brings, you know, a lot of a bigger understanding of what the group means, the collective effort. For this group, I think that that could be something that, you know, can serve as a motivation late in the season. If they're able to recover most of those players, they can think things through and say, hey, listen, we're back, we're ready. We have players available now. We can go anywhere in the league and get 3 points. That's going to be very important, especially in the playoffs.
Look at you looking on the bright side of things.
I know, I'm a positive person, yeah.
Well, at this point, you just have to have that positive mindset. And that's not the only regard in which Brendan Burke wants a positive mindset from his team. We asked him about what it's going to take to get them back to where they were, the level they had earlier in the season. He said it's simple. It's just about having fun, to play the type of up-tempo, open, free-flowing, attacking style football they're trying to instill and at some points have had going for them at full blast. They need to have fun. It's as simple as that.
But, you know, when you have so many players out, that brings a lot of pressure to the players that are on the field. You have to put out a good performance for your team to succeed. Think about Galeno right now. It's no Hadji Barry. Everybody looks at him, so he feels that pressure. And then if you overthink things, then you might run into trouble, and maybe that's what's happening right now for this team.
Charlie Dennis might run into some trouble as well. He's already on a yellow card. He just
telling
had that foul, so he is certainly on J.C. Griggs' radar.
Right.
And unfortunately for Oakland, if he doesn't keep his head in the next 15 minutes, it wouldn't be the first time this season he has picked up 2 yellows in the first half. Against Los Dos, it was scoreless. He picked up 2 first-half yellows. They gave up 3 then in the second half quickly and lost that one handily. Half an hour into this one now at Widener Field with Jose Rodriguez. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. If you joined us late, well, you missed the only goal. It was scored 23 seconds into the game by Elvis Amo, his 13th of the season. No Hadji Barry for the 2nd game in a row for the Switchbacks. Not on the injury report, no official word on why he is unavailable, but 2 games in a row now. So we were wondering who would step up offensively. Elvis Amo with a thunderous volley from outside the area to the upper 90, beating Paul Blanchette, and you could have inserted any goalkeeper in the world. It would have beaten him on that occasion. Here's Asokar trying to get it back to his left foot. Asokar end line, puts it in front. And irate Matt Mahoney barking at the rest of his back line in midfield. And it's out for a corner. This corner kick brought to you by Pepsi. That's what I like.
Great effort individually that time from Asokar. Unfortunately unable to connect with Mafika, but you know, in regards to those 1v1 battles, I think he's been able to do a good job early on.
Dennis, good ball, loose in front.
What happened in the far post here?
Fuad Mayor was a step too slow in getting there to tap it home. Oakland seemed certain it would be another corner from the near side. Seemed like they had a case from that quick look at it. Off the right hip, it appeared, of Michael Edwards.
Yeah, it should be a corner kick at least.
It is not. It'll be a goal kick for the Switchbacks. Hernandez give and go with Mafeka. Amo. Wheeler. Sending Galena. He wasn't sure whether or not he was onside, so he let it go. Almost given away dangerously there in the defensive third by the Roots. Now Rito Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. Here's Wheeler. To the end line, Wheeler. Had to do better with that one, had the time, had the space. And now he's injured. Off to the side, the way he slipped off the field. It goes quickly from turf to concrete. It's easy to lose your footing. And he just slipped into the wall.
Should be okay, hopefully. But again, good with the ball this time, Wheeler. Maybe, at that point, with 2 players around him, would have been better to stop a little bit, take his time. It seems like at this point for Colorado Springs, they just need to close out the half. They have the lead already. Looks to me like Oakland Roots, they're starting to gain some momentum. So if you're Colorado Springs, concentrate on the defensive effort, try to set up really, really well, especially now with Erdman out of the game. That's going to be very important.
Played through to Rito. Rito looking for Carlson. Hernandez. Rito again. Carlson lurking. Rito. Wayward ball stayed in the whole time. Or so we thought. Late whistle. J.C. Griggs got with his AR, and it's out for a goal kick.
I think Oakland is lacking that connection that we have seen in the last few weeks between whether you have the ball on the right side with Rito and looking through the middle, Feka or even Carlson, and then when you have the ball on the left and the soccer is pushing aggressively, they are missing that connection. They are good with the ball, they're winning the matchups, but it seems like the individual effort is not enough, and it shouldn't be enough. They have to do a lot better. The combinations at the top need to be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit of more movement without the ball. That's going to be required in the second half.
Back to Hodge, who subbed in for the injured Erdman. And all the way now for Jeff Caldwell, who has had nothing to do through 35 minutes. Not a registered shot on target for Oakland, and for that matter, Paul Blanchette hasn't had much to do. The only shot on target officially registered by Switchbacks was the goal 23 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of moments, and I think right now from the first half, it's pretty even, except for that shot from Amo.
And here is Amo again. Keeps it in play. And does well to earn the corner.
Yeah, I think that's the good decision. That's what I expected a few minutes ago from Wheeler. Just to understand the situation. You're a lone striker inside the box, surrounded by defenders. Just try to hold on to the ball.
Corner kick brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Lindley with 9 assists on the season. Curls it in toward the top of the 6. It's fumbled for a moment by Blanchette, but he gets it off the bounce before anybody else can tap it home. For as open, free-flowing, and end-to-end as this match has been, it surprised me to read off that stat a moment ago that there's only been 1 shot on target still.
Yeah, I think it's a much better game than what the stats show. I think the game has been, with intensity. Intensity has been there. Maybe lacking a little bit of quality at point when it comes to the finishing. But other than that, I think both teams have the intensity, the right mindset as well. Looking at 3 points, you can see some of the sense of urgency. If you're Oakland, you want to bring that to another level, especially if you're down a goal in the second half. But if you're Colorado Springs, you have to realize as well that you have the lead, and you have to play both sides of the ball.
San Antonio and Sacramento have just kicked off. San Antonio hosting Sacramento in that one. Detroit scored against Tulsa early on in half number 2. No pertinence to this Western Conference playoff race here. Detroit trying to just jockey for a better seed in the Eastern Conference. And then Monterey Bay and Miami are still scoreless with 10 minutes to play. That one means a lot to Oakland here. Asokar over to Rito. Rito going back the other way with it. Asokar, Formella tries to hit it. And it'll be a corner kick brought to you by Pepsi on the far side of the field now for the Roots.
It's good for Oakland to get Formella involved. We haven't seen much from him in the first 39 minutes of the game. He's a very important player because he can pick the spots left behind Carlson, even behind Asokar when he moves forward on the left side.
Dennis delivers it. Fuenmayor gets ahead to it. Hodge just missed it. Barbier back for Dennis. Another chance to get a ball in for Charlie Dennis. They'll do it again from the corner.
Set pieces are obviously a very important part of the game. And for Oakland, I think they have enough. If you think about Barbier, if you think about even Carlson, you know, Fuenmayor moving forward. Put a good service in and see what happens.
Dennis, another good delivery. Seemed like Marat had a chance at it. Now Fuenmayor puts it back in play. Galena heads it clear. Hernandez for Dennis. Good sustained pressure here from the Roots. Mafeka brings it down. Overlap coming from Rito. Mafeka takes the space and drives it. Almost what he did against Phoenix. Nobody close to him. He took the shot on that night and scored. This one just over the bar.
I thought exactly the same thing. It's such a similar play. Everybody runs away from him, giving him enough room to take the left-footed shot. Man, you gotta watch film. You can't do that. I mean, that's too easy for him. I think, you know, Colorado Springs, they did dodge the bullet here.
That's a no matter who is on the ball. You can't give that much space and time for a shot, but especially when you just saw him score that goal 2 games ago for Oakland.
Yeah, the exact same play happened again for him. Unfortunately for Oakland, it didn't end up with a goal.
Whistle blows before Carlson can break through. It was Dennis again colliding with Edwards and having some words with J.C. Griggs as he walks back up the field. I don't know exactly what the fitness level is on the bench of Jojo Nane, but you wonder if that has to be a halftime sub for Noah Delgado to get Dennis off the field. He has a yellow, he had a warning, he had another foul there, and before the second corner he just took, he was yelling at J.C. Griggs that it should have previously been a handball. So he is right in the crosshairs now. And again, this is a player that has already once this year picked up 2 yellows and been sent off.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You really have to think about it. And, you know, it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision, especially because you're down a goal, so you need to score. And Dennis gives you a lot offensively. He really helps you. He gets you closer to the goal, and he covers a lot of ground as well in the middle of the field.
Could also look to Mikel Janssen as a more attacking-minded option and ask Jose Hernandez to just sit a bit deeper. And that's all again if Noah Delgado doesn't have the trust in Charlie Dennis to keep his head about him. Hernandez for Mafeka. Rito starts his run. Mafeka continues with it. Dennis had it taken away. Mafeka almost got right back to it. Corner coming again for Oakland. That corner tally is rising, and the deliveries have all been dangerous. This will be the 4th one now that the Roots take. Corner brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. In swinger from Dennis. Rito clips it back in. Caldwell reads it the whole way. Well, if and when the Roots finally test Caldwell, it is a difficult task getting it by him. Finalist for goalkeeper of the year last year in a stellar season at Hartford.
That's another part of the game that, for Colorado Springs, they have been successful this year. Think about this team last year, the amount of goals that they were able to score, and you're thinking they should be fighting for the title. But you look at the other side of the ball, they couldn't defend as well. And that's why they were not a top team in the USL Championship. This year, a lot different. Another goalkeeper, great setup as well, an understanding of the system. And right now, honestly, that's when goals are not there, you look to the defensive side of the ball, and it's working for them.
And still, through all that, you get the sense that this team will go as far as Hadji Barry and Mishi Galina take this team. And that's where you, again, just hope that Hadji Barry can get back out on the field for Switchbacks. Not on the injury report, not available last game, and not available tonight.
Yeah, because, if you're good defensively, and especially for Colorado Springs, the identity of this team is not that. The identity of this team is to score goals. So, that can take you through, a small stretch in the season. That can help you finish strong and get good results. But to win in the playoffs, you have to score goals. They have to play their style.
And that's where things went downhill for them last year after Mishi Galina went on loan to LAFC. So in the first 22 games of the season, Hadji Barry scored 20 goals last year. In the final 12, he scored 5. That's still a pretty good clip, 5 goals in 12 games. But when you're talking about a guy who scored 20 in 22, 5 in 12 is a steep decline, and it's part of the reason they faltered down the stretch.
Yeah, they need to find a way. I'm thinking, this team, they still have enough time. They have 3 more games. They have the time to rest as well. I think it's an ideal scenario, but it all starts tonight. They have to get 3 points at home.
Amo looking through for Galina. Too far out ahead. That brings us now into stoppage time. 3 minutes have been tacked on to the end of half number 1, brought to you by TikTok Shop. Been a couple of moments where it felt like Galina was going to break through and the ball was maybe 3 or 4 yards stronger than it needed to be. Something the Roots will have to keep an eye on. He has been breaking free on those runs in behind. The ball just hasn't been there yet.
Roots, they have to be very careful with those giveaways in the middle.
Murad uncertain with it. A couple of glances back at J.C. Griggs from the Switchbacks players as to whether or not that was a pass back, but it was a half-hearted touch at best from Murad.
And I think that's where they're missing Hadji Barry, because Hadji Barry, if you give the ball away in the middle, then you have enough firepower to move forward, and he's usually the player that leads the way for Colorado Springs.
Asokar uses Formella, try to scoop it back to Asokar. You saw what the idea was, didn't quite come off.
Yeah, that's great ball movement and movement without the ball as well from Asokar.
Wheeler. Here's Galina. Amo starts his run up the left side. Galina doing it himself for now. Mishi Galina, eyes for goal. Maybe he had better options there in the end.
Yeah, not a good cross, obviously. But, there's confidence there. There's a little bit of an understanding because they were basically in a 2v4 situation. 4 defenders for Oakland, only 2 strikers for Colorado Springs, and yet Galina was looking for ammo right in the middle. So, that's confidence. That's being a positive guy as well.
Hey, we're almost at the end of the first half here, and it's been nothing but positivity from you. I almost got to balance it out and be the negative guy. I don't want to be that guy. Come on, Jose. Say something negative. Asokar into Mafeka, heads it centrally. Now Dennis. I'd be very curious to know where that ball would have gone if it wasn't blocked.
Yeah,
it looked
really
like
good.
He caught it clean.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Anderson, and it blocked out a play by Murad. The closing seconds now of the first half. Curious what the adjustments might be coming out of the half for both of these teams. Both sides seem to play their ideal half, and Switchbacks just took one terrific opportunity.
Yeah, I think, for Oakland, I think they have to bring the energy a little bit higher. I think they can do it. I think, they're obviously 3 points are important for both teams tonight, but especially for them.
An extra shove in the end from Hodge. The first one was a little late. The second one was egregiously late. And now Charlie Dennis comes in, has a yellow card. Mafeka comes in, has a yellow card. So 2 Oakland players on yellows joined the fracas after the fact. And it's up to the referees now to sort this one out. We're beyond the 3 minutes that were given. Halftime whistle won't blow until we sort this out. Watch Hodge here at the end of this one. There's that shove, whistle had already blown, and then a secondary shove just goes off the screen. But he came back in for another shove in the back of Carlson. And then that's when everybody else started joining the fray. J.C. Griggs in the earpiece, chatting with the 4th official and his assistants, trying to now decipher who gets a card, how many cards are given, are they yellow, are they red?
I think the 4th official had a pretty good look. I would be surprised if Hodge comes out of this with no yellow card.
Jury deliberations continue. Have we reached a verdict? It seems we have. Reaching for the pocket, and Hodge picks up a yellow. Spot on, Jose. And a yellow, it appears.
For Hernandez as well? Looks
Yes.
like it. Yeah.
Okay, so 2, 1 each.
So 2 yellow cards, 4 overall in the game. 3 of them for Oakland.
All yellow cards brought to you by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
And now if you're Noah Delgado, I think now you're forced to make a substitution just because you have two of your midfielders with a yellow card, Dennis and Hernandez. So you really have to make that decision looking into the second half.
And the halftime whistle finally blows. Positive first half for both teams. The only difference was an absolutely terrific strike, maybe goal of the week candidate for Elvis Amo.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the problem for Oakland is that, it's not about moral victories at this point. And they need points tonight, so they need to be aggressive in the second half. And if you're Colorado Springs, you need to find a way to regain some of the momentum that you had early on. Find some consistency through the wings and maybe get that second goal early in the second half.
Switchbacks hoping that a win tonight could put them in the prime position to secure a home playoff game. It would just about get them to where they need to be. Oakland, on the other hand, hoping that the 3 points, if they can find it tonight, keeps them alive in the playoff chase. RGV secured 3 last night against Charleston. Oakland needs to keep pace, but right now they're playing from behind based on that strike by Elvis Amo. 23 seconds into the game. Switchbacks 1, Roots nothing. More to come here on ESPN+.
Get your cell phone out and turn your camera on, because the Fox 21 Storm Team has a new weather app that you can download right now by scanning this code. It allows our team of meteorologists to send you push alerts wherever you are. It's a lot like us knocking on your door.
Oh.
With these weather alerts, we deliver important storm information for your specific area with detailed videos directly from the Fox 21 Storm Team Weather Center. It's weather in your neighborhood. Download the new Fox 21 Storm Team weather app today.
Think you know football? Well, here's your chance to prove it. Enter our Fox 21 High West Siding and Windows Pro Football Challenge. One lucky national grand prize winner will get a trip for 2 to beautiful Hawaii. Enter at fox21news.com, sponsored by High West Siding and Windows.
Fox 21's Loving Living local is exploring outdoor Colorado in this fully loaded 4xe Jeep Wrangler, and now is your chance to win big. Snap a pic of yourself enjoying Colorado's outdoors. Submit that to fox21news.com. Plus, tune in to Loving Living Local for special segments highlighting things to do and places to see in our beautiful state. At the end of the year, one lucky winner will receive a gift certificate for a prepaid 2-year lease on a brand new Jeep from Perkins Motors. So, show us how you outdoor Colorado.
Halftime is presented by Fox 21. Switchbacks 1, Roots nothing through the first 45. That opening goal came just 23 seconds into the match. With that, we take a look ahead at the remaining schedule for both Colorado Springs and Oakland. After tonight, only 2 games remaining for the Switchbacks. Both of those are on the road. So this is the last time tonight they will be at Widener Field in the regular season. First, we'll take a look at the Roots schedule. Pardon me. They're home for their final home game of the season against Birmingham before 2 on the road, both going east.
Well, yeah, that's a tough challenge and maybe something that, Noah Delgado, it's not happy about. You start against Birmingham at home, but going to Hartford and going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, obviously, a challenging team as always. It's not an easy schedule at all.
And on the other side, on the road against El Paso and New Mexico, which is why tonight's game is so important. If they pick up the 3 points, they all but seal the deal in terms of clinching a home playoff game.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing here is the 10 days between the game against El Paso and then the game against New Mexico. You're going to be able to give some rest to the players, bring some of the players that are injured, just being able to come back. That's going to be very important.
And these standings are live, including the results we have already seen tonight and the results that are ongoing. We'll turn your attention right now to the top. San Antonio currently beating Sacramento 1-0. All San Antonio needs tonight is 1 point. Tie or win, and they clinch the #1 overall seed with still 3 games to play. That just goes to show how terrific they've been all season long.
Outstanding, just an outstanding team. A lot of credit goes to the whole group of players, coaches. I think they have been able to do an outstanding job. But I'm going to take you down to Oakland, because if they're able to get 2 more points here, they might be able to move past Monterey. They just finished their game tied against Miami FC.
And if Sacramento does lose to San Antonio, that's big for Colorado Springs, because it gives them more of an inside track at the 3 seed instead of the 4 seed. So it's a lot that we're going to have to figure out. We have 3 weeks to figure it out, and a lot will be determined by the second 45 between Switchbacks and Roots. More to come in just a few moments from Widener Field.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Goes topic speakers. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it. What?
Welcome to Tampa Bay. Here he comes. Cross, score! Fernandez, and the Rowdies are on the board.
And it's into the back of the net. El Paso waited for their moment.
Far corner, and it's in. What a goal! Are you watching Football Americas?
presented by Fox 21. Switchbacks up 1-0 on the Oakland Roots, courtesy of the goal 23 seconds in by Elvis Amo. Beautiful night tonight, at Widener Field, and it's a beautiful night to solidify a home playoff game for the Switchbacks. And with that, we take a look around the league with some news and notes. Playoffs this year presented by Hisense. The East is done. The East, all 7 teams are clinched. The bottom 7 all eliminated. We've got a lot to figure out in the West, however. We'll figure that out over the next couple of weeks, I suppose. And the championship date, that's what everybody is playing toward, is on November 13th. Playoffs beginning on October 21st. And this is going to come down to the wire. It really is, Jose.
Perfect setup, Joe, for the World Cup, right?
It is. We go, 7 days later?
Right, yes.
That's perfect.
So no break.
No break at all. We've got some scores to get to you from around the league. Monterey Bay scoreless at the end of 90 against Miami is a big one in this Western Conference playoff race. Puts them on 40 points in 30 games. Good news for Oakland as they're chasing some more points in this one. Pittsburgh dropped 2 points against Orange County, with Orange County scoring late to tie that one at 1.
A bit surprising, right? I mean, Pittsburgh, that might not be insignificant at all because Detroit and Miami might be climbing the standings.
This coming week, now we have to keep an eye on Tampa Bay and El Paso. Hopefully the weather systems allow that game to happen on Wednesday night. But in the Western Conference playoff race, Sacramento and Phoenix, it's got to be last chance saloon for Rising if they aren't already past their last chance. Not mathematically eliminated yet, but that's got to be one that they have against Sacramento.
Yeah, I think, that's always an interesting matchup in USL Championship, regardless of what's been going on with Phoenix Rising this year. It's just 2 household names here in USL Championship. So can we talk again about Tampa Bay and El Paso, because that's a Deportes game,
It is. You'll be on the call, hopefully, as long as that game goes.
All right.
And we hope that, Tropical Storm or Hurricane Ian goes by the wayside.
Shame on you.
Get out of here.
Shame
Let's
on
play
you.
that game.
I have to bring that back. Shame on you, Joe Malfa.
I can't wait to hear you on that game, and hopefully the weather allows it to happen. But on a more somber note, on Thursday, the American soccer community lost a coaching legend. Tim Hankinson coached for more than 40 years, including stints with the USL's Charleston Battery in the 11 and Chattanooga Red Wolves, as well as working as a broadcaster for San Antonio FC. The entire USL mourns his passing. Our thoughts are with his family and all the players who ever called him coach.
I moved here about 8 years ago to join the Fox 21 News team. I thought I'd only be here for a couple of years, but I absolutely fell in love with Southern Colorado. I also fell in love with a Pueblo boy when I was interviewing him about his food truck. Now we're married, we have this little girl, and my parents actually owned a restaurant in Arkansas, a catfish restaurant, so it's exciting that my daughter gets to grow up in a restaurant too, in her daddy's kitchen in Pueblo.
Yeah. Watch Taylor Bishop, weeknights at 5, 6:30, 9, and 10.
Think you know football? Well, here's your chance to prove it. Enter our Fox 21 High West Siding and Windows Pro Football Challenge. One lucky national grand prize winner will get a trip for 2 to beautiful Hawaii or $5,000 in cold hard cash. Local weekly winners will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Plus, at the end of the football season, one local winner will get a big screen TV. Go to fox21news.com today to enter your picks and check back weekly to see how you match up against other fans in Southern Colorado.
It says out of workshop for a reason.
I'm so sorry to bother you, boss, but
They moved the World Cup
to the holidays.
Wait, like the actual World Cup? To my holiday season? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, but that's my time to shine. I mean, how am I supposed to compete with that? You know what? Get Blitzen on the phone. I got to get back up there right now. I gotta go.
Welcome back to Widener Field. Switchbacks up 1-0 on the Roots. Tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match is Bella Reyes, Emergency Department Nursing Manager at St. Francis Hospital. Thank you for all you've done to help our community. The healthcare professional of the match is co-sponsored by Encore Electric along with Olson Plumbing and Heating. Now in this one, Switchbacks got off to a flying start. 23 seconds is all it took for number 23, Elvis Amo, to score his 13th goal of the season.
Yeah, here's a long ball from Herdman. I think he was just clearing the ball away, honestly. Wheeler gets a touch, but right in front of goal, edge of the box. First to the ball is Amo, and to the back of the net it goes. A beautiful strike, and it's a 1-0 very early. 13th minute, another opportunity for the home side. The ball on the left side of the pitch. Good combination here from Lindley, looking for Wheeler again. A great setup, give and go. Unfortunately, Lindley unable to put the final touch there. Plenty of room to the left side of the goalkeeper. He decided to go to the first post, and maybe, he was caught in between making that decision, and he wasn't able to finish here.
And every shot or opportunity you see now, the rest of this highlight package, is not going to be a shot on goal. The opening goal was the only shot on goal for either side in the first half, but it was still entertaining. Yeah. There were still so many of these near chances for both teams.
Yes, listen, there were no shots on goal, but, we can clearly say that the setups and the build-up was really, really good. Here's the perfect example. If you get a shot on goal there, it's basically a goal. So I think both teams are working really hard. I really like this play because it brought me back to that Phoenix Rising Oakland Roots game. It felt like watching it all over again, but this time it goes over the bar for Mafeka.
I'll tell you what, the way this ball knuckled at the end, I thought it was swerving back under the bar, but not to be. So at the break, it's 4 shots, 1 on target for Switchbacks, 8 shots, none on target for the Roots, who have controlled possession in this game 60-40 in their favor in terms of the possession. Another beautiful sunset here on this crisp fall evening at Widener Field. As day becomes night, Switchbacks hoping that a strong first half can turn into 3 points and parlay that into a home playoff game. They do not want this to be the last game they play in 2022 at Widener Field. If they secure 3 points tonight, it's just about done. They'd have to lose each of their final 2 games. New Mexico would have to run the table with 4 wins. Both of those unlikely. Could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Probably not. So it's all to play for tonight for the Switchbacks if they want a home playoff game. All to play for the Roots if they want a playoff game, period, in that race for the 7th seed. J.C. Griggs sets his watch. And we're underway in half number 2. Maybe not. False start. Try again. There we go.
No 5-yard penalty, right?
Decline it.
So Dennis Hernandez is still on the field for Oakland. Remember, they both have a yellow card. We talked about it in the first half. Now, obviously, if they are still on the field, they have to be really, really careful.
Mafeka also with a yellow for the Roots, but Dennis and Hernandez in particular so involved and physical in the middle. Have to be careful. Tristan Hodge has one on the other side for Switchbacks. Barbier gets it back into play and receives it from Formella. All the way back to Blanchette. Neither goalkeeper has had much to do aside from field across here and there. Hodge, that last touch was a little heavy, and he was bailed out by the foul against Rito.
Looks like there will be another yellow card here.
It will be. J.C. Griggs, right before he issues the yellow, starts counting up on the fingers, so this is a persistent infringement yellow against Eduardo Rito. So make it 4 for the Roots that are on the precipice now.
Man, but you really have to go for it if you're Noah Delgado. I guess the thought process here is I'm not going to worry about what could happen. I'm just going to worry about having a consistent group of players on the field will get me closer to 3 points. And right now, they need a goal to get back in the game. I guess a draw will not be the end of the world for them. Still, you're thinking about an opportunity of moving past Monterey. Getting even on points with RGV if you get 3 points tonight.
That yellow card was brought to you by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. And back to our conversation that we were having in the first half as the offside flag comes up here about the MVP and how the Golden Boot winner this year is likely to be on a last place team. There's still going to be a Golden Boot winner, and he's still having a terrific season. Milan Alaski is the player who scored the goal to make it 1-1 in that Pittsburgh-Orange County game. So he's on 21 now with a couple of games to go.
Wow.
We haven't talked about it much, but the record's in jeopardy. Najee Berry tied it last year. Cam Lancaster's 25.
Right.
He's only got 4 goals to go with still 3 games remaining.
And
it's doable.
It's doable, and it would be really, really something, because being a last place team and and breaking the goal scoring record.
It's weird on so many levels. A, how with that type of goal score is Orange County in last place? B, in the year that we're going to have possibly the goal scoring record broken, that player's not even going to get the MVP because of his team.
Right.
It's just odd all around, but the one thing that is not strange is the performance from Alaski. It's been incredible all season long to watch. Scoring left foot, right foot, head, from distance, from in close. Terrific runs through. Any way you can imagine, he has scored. Maka King plays it wide. Here's Anderson. Sebastian Anderson, 3rd appearance, 2nd start for the Switchbacks in his 4th loan stint from the Rapids. Has played at least 1 game for Switchbacks now in 4 consecutive seasons. Anderson at left wing back now. Played 13 games in MLS Next Pro this year with Rapids 2 and 2 games in MLS with the first team. It's nice to see that the partnership is still able to exist between Rapids and Switchbacks, even with the advent of Next Pro. That season ended last week. Still some time in USL, so a chance to get some of these young players some more minutes and help this team that is so bereft of players right now because of all the injuries. As Lindley serves the ball in front. It was going wide. Blanchette paused it anyway.
Yeah, I think to your point, that's good overall for the development of the game in the country. Obviously the USL Championship provides another level than what we're seeing as of right now in MLS Next Pro.
Rito did so well to carry that the way he did, but in the end, maybe he had more time to settle that instead of rushing across.
I think he had the time, but he felt that he needed to make a decision a little bit sooner than when he really need to. So a missed opportunity here for Rito, because, we know the quality that he brings to the table, especially offensively when he's inside the box. He usually makes good decisions.
Edwards, the other loanee from Colorado Rapids, acres of space here. And almost like Rito on the other end, had the space, had the time, and just rushed it.
Man,
didn't know what to do.
Yeah, things are starting to open up from both sides, honestly. A little bit surprising that time, especially from Oakland, because they're usually very good through the middle. But no player around him that time.
Mafeka. Hernandez. Now it's Rito. Rito active in the first few minutes of this second half. He draws the corner. Brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. You're in your corner. Dennis again will take it. They had 4 in the first half. J.C. Griggs having a word between Wheeler and Murad before the corner is taken. Now they're ready for play. the service to Fuenmayor, who was called for the foul. For all the corners they've had, have not been able to make one count. That was the 5th one.
Yeah, I don't think they have they haven't able to take full advantage of set pieces. And that's a shame because they, if you really think about corners right now for Oakland Roots, that's the only way that they have been able to put numbers inside the box. Something needs to change, Joe, if you're Oakland Roots right now. The dynamic seems to be exactly the same to what we saw in the first half. I did expect a little bit of more energy coming into the second half, especially after getting time to think things through with Noah Delgado.
Carlson taken down.
Yep.
Draws the free kick. He's scored a couple of those this year himself. You know he'll be taking it. Elvis Amo picks up a yellow card. Direct free kicks at the death twice against Orange County.
Man, yeah. And listen, Oakland, they have been looking for that spark. And it would be so unfortunate for Colorado Springs if it comes after a foul in the edge of the box. Completely unnecessary at this point from Amo. But hey, if you're Oakland, this is an opportunity. And you need to try at least to take advantage of it. This could be a very important moment in the match.
16 goals on the season for Carlson. One of them on a direct free kick from almost this exact same spot. Came earlier in the year against Orange County. He powered it over the wall and over the hands of a diving Patrick Rakowski in goal for Orange County. Got a 4-man wall standing up. And you've got the 5th player in there, Echeverria, laying down. Does that count as a 5-man wall? I guess.
Yes.
There's the whistle. Carlson strikes and shouts for handball.
Handball.
And it's given. Penalty for the Roots. Wow. Another penalty decision on a handball that goes against Switchbacks. And bad luck.
And it's a yellow card. Wow.
Second yellow and then a red. From bad to worse.
Oh my goodness. Talk about a turn of events.
You talked in the first half, Jose, about some silly yellow cards that were taken. Amo's that he just took moments ago wasn't silly, it was a foul.
Yeah.
He commits the foul, the handball and the ensuing free kick. So in a matter of a minute, he went from the hero of the day, the volley goal 23 seconds in, to an early shower.
Oh my goodness, but why would he jump like that with the hand up?
So now it's Otar Carlson, a chance from the spot.
That's lack of concentration right there.
Now Caldwell is one of the best in the league at stopping penalties. Carlson has scored 4 of his last 5. He's been the penalty taker this year for the Roots, has converted 4 times. 16 on the season. To make it 1-1, to give the Roots life in this playoff chase. It's Carlson, it's Caldwell. Carlson wins the battle. It's 1-1 at Widener Field. Game on. Roots level in the scoreline and now up a man.
Goal scorer, right place, right time, takes on that responsibility. The captain tonight as well. Caldwell with a great effort, but just too strong a finish from Carlson. To the back of the net it goes, Joe, and we have a ball game here.
And Carlton Belmar now comes into the match for the Switchbacks. Aaron Wheeler exits. Substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org.
And just a very smart decision, let me tell you, about Brendan Burke as well, to bring Belmar in. A lot of pace at the top, and now he expects, obviously, because Oakland, they are favorites now to get 3 points. The game is right there, which means they're going to push the numbers forward, and guess what? They're going to leave a lot of room behind for Galena and Belmar.
We live in a much different world than we did even just 3 minutes ago,
Right,
Jose.
absolutely.
3 minutes ago, Switchbacks were in control. Better of the two sides. Seemed like they came out in the second half on the front foot, up 1-0. Well, now it's 1-1, and they're down to 10 men, and it's Elvis Amo, who they lost, who's their other important piece going forward with Galena without Haji Barry.
Listen, if I'm writing about this game, my story is basically based in the last 5 minutes. That's about it. I don't need anything else.
Echeverria picked up a yellow card. Brought to you by Diversus Health. The Roots have been on the wrong side of a couple of results this year in which they went down a man and then conceded the goals. Can they finally be the beneficiaries of it? Here's Galena. Pardon me, Belmar.
This is a big opportunity for Belmar. Played in 24 matches, but only 491 minutes in the season. Right now, he almost gets a full half. It's a big, big opportunity for him to come through for the Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Early July, red card against Oakland. Los Dos scored 3 and won it 3-1 after the Roots went down a man. A couple of weeks later, Roots went down a man against Las Vegas. Same situation, double yellow near the end of the first half, and they lost 2-0. So twice this year, red card to the Roots, and they went on to lose. Now finally one in their favor. Can they make it count?
Now remember, if you're Oakland Roots, you have a lot of players with a yellow as well, so you need to be very, very careful.
Fair point. It's only a man advantage if you keep it as one.
Right.
Rito, Dennis, Hernandez, Mafeka, all on yellows. And here is Rito now tasked with defending. Anderson. Now we're gone. Half hour to go at Widener Field. Driven ball in, headed away by Barbier. With Jose Rodriguez, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us tonight. 23 seconds in, Elvis Amo put Switchbacks up 1-0. And then it was a handball against Amo on a free kick that he committed the foul on. Yellow card for the foul, yellow card for the handball. He was sent off in the span of a minute, and Carlson converted the penalty in the 57th to make it 1-1. I think there are a lot of RGV fans and a lot of Monterey Bay fans.
Oh, they're watching.
Who might be watching this and are now clenching their fists, holding their breath a little bit more than they were a little while ago. RGV, no doubt about it, has the inside track still. They are on 42 points through 30 games. If the Roots are able to come back and win this game, they would join RGV on 42 points, but RGV would have the game in hand, and Monterey Bay on 40 points would also have a game in hand on the Roots. So the Roots would not control destiny, but they would have the 42 points to put them on par with RGV. Now that game in hand for RGV will be played next week at home against Louisville City, number 1 in the East, stewing off of a loss last night against Memphis. So it's not the most far-fetched possibility that RGV loses that game in hand, and now we're on level pegging between RGV and Oakland going into the final couple of weeks of the season.
Well, and obviously, you know, if you're tied in points with Oakland, then there's a lot of pressure into that game as well.
Here's Dennis. Carlson calling for it. Overlap from Rito. Dennis takes it himself. He didn't miss by much. He had some other options. Some teammates looking at him unhappy with his decision.
I think it's a good decision because I know that Dennis can take that shot. I'm sure as a teammate you have seen it in practice almost every day. It's more concerning to me for Colorado Springs. How can you give him that much room inside the box to take that shot? But if it gets one more chance, just like that one, it's going in the back of the net, I'm sure. It might be time, Joe, by the way, to start thinking about Johnson. I think he's a very good option on the bench right now for Oakland Roots.
Be a very attacking-minded decision, but for a team who just about needs the 3 points in this playoff race, they are there for the taking right now, up a man. So it would be a very sound decision, I'd say. I agree with you 100% there. Will we see a Mikael Janssen in this game? Edwards.
I really like the approach right now from Colorado Springs. Listen, it could be, 1-1 draw with a man down. It might be acceptable for Colorado Springs, and if it finishes that way, I don't think there's no way you can criticize them. But yet they're still looking for 3 points. They're still pushing numbers forward. They have been able to find a way to, with a man down, find a system that works for them. So I really, really like this.
Belmar in jeopardy of losing a pretty impressive streak, Carlton Belmar. More on that in a second. Deflected ball all the way out for a corner. He has scored in every season he's played at USL Championship, each of the last 7 years. But this year, the usage has been different, more off the bench, not as many minutes. He hasn't scored yet this year. It's a player who started his career in USL Championship on a torrid pace. 38 goals in 101 games in 4 years. In the last 3 years, 72 games, just 5 goals. So he's slowed down a bit. He's still scored in 7 straight seasons in this league. Tiro Price corner kick coming for the Switchbacks. Lindley to the front post, and it was Belmar. Thought he should have had another corner out of it, but it's a goal kick. A crucial inter-conference match awaits as the end of the season draws closer. El Paso Locomotive FC travels to historic Outland Stadium to meet the Tampa Bay Rowdies Wednesday, September 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. We hope. We hope. And if we get it, Jose Rodriguez on the call.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Joe Malfa.
With Jesus Acosta, I believe?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay.
Yes, sir. We're ready to roll.
The dream team.
Raincoats and all.
Here's Asokar. Good first touch by Rito. Gotta keep an eye on the tropics, so make sure you guys get to work on Wednesday.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm the positive guy in the broadcast.
You are 4 for 4 when the situation has come up with the positive outlook.
Yeah, there you go.
And if that game gets played, and hopefully it does, it is a big one in both playoff races because Tampa Bay have all of a sudden cooled off in the Eastern Conference. It seemed like they'd be in a 2-horse race with Louisville for the 1 seed. They have dropped way back off that pace now. They're 8 points back of Louisville. They're actually tied with Birmingham and only 2 points clear of Pittsburgh. So from what seemed to be a 2-horse race for the 1 seed and a bye in the first round, Tampa Bay's in danger of falling all the way down to not having a home playoff game. So it's massive for them, and it's big for El Paso, who are hoping to hold on to a playoff spot in the Western Conference. And if Colorado Springs falters enough, they can get into their own home playoff game. So implications all around in that one on Wednesday for you, we hope.
Yeah, it's a very important matchup, and it's interesting because usually towards the end of the season, having players from the East play the West, it might be a little bit challenging. The traveling is a problem. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of the standings, it might be challenging of making a game interesting or not. But listen, those matchups are really, really good.
Here comes Mishi Galena, a buzz about the crowd every time he touches it. Here's Galena still. Galena puts it wide.
And just a great move from Galena. Just being able to take the shot in front of 2 defenders, that's the challenge by itself. He makes it a close one. He wins the race here. More just waiting and waiting and waiting. Never gets to the ball. Fuenmayor right behind him. He's the one in the end that puts pressure on Galina to take the shot. Good collective effort defensively that time. A good effort as well from Galina.
And we see the sub you were hoping for. Mikkel Janssen has entered the match. Darius Formella is a player on the way out, brought to you by the William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. So what can Janssen do with 23 minutes and stoppage time at his disposal? Here comes Galina again, going 1v3. Galina, not a single teammate in your picture, and now he finally has some help in Belmar. Back through to Lindley. That seemed like it could have and should have been more for the Switchbacks.
It's very risky right now for Colorado Springs. They're pushing a lot of numbers forward.
Janssen, too much, looking for Rito. There have been 20 total shots in this game. Only 2 of those 20 have been shots on target, and they are your 2 goals on the evening. So for all the action we've had.
Yes, and yet I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying the game.
Here's Belmar, it's end to end. Blanchette, that's a weird one. It drifted at the end. Had to just fight it off. that tells you everything you need to know. That shrug, he had to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Belmar. I think that's the cross. That's the cross that maybe he was thinking about getting a corner kick at that point. Swinmayor was right in front of him. Just keeping possession. He's able to get the ball inside the box and still gets the corner kick.
Tiro Price corner kick here. There's not much you can say if you're Blanchette there. The body language dictates it all. You can't let it go. You can't take that chance. It was a weird one to judge, and you just hope you don't pay for it here. Lindley from the corner, and it's saved off the line by Mafeka. Back into the area now, and into the hands of Blanchette. So they almost paid for the misjudge by Blanchette. He's bailed out by Mafeka. And now Rito, can he keep it in? Yes, with that speed, you expected him to. Rito to Carlson, just out of his reach. Janssen will keep it alive, maybe, no. Seemed like he had a beat on it, but he continued to skim along the turf.
Joe, it's hard for me to believe that we're not going to have another goal in this game. I think it's going to happen. It almost happened here. We talked about set pieces for Oakland just a few minutes ago, but it's almost Colorado Springs is able to score there. Big save that time. I know they don't give saves of the week to wingers, but I mean, he should be on the list. Mafeka.
Dennis. Janssen. Dennis goes down. It's a free kick or a penalty? Free kick.
Free kick, yeah.
From that angle, the way Griggs was pointing toward the spot, I didn't know, but it was just outside the area. And Oakland is trying to make the case that it was inside. You be the judge here.
Oh.
The contact happened oh so close to the line. So often, Jose, we see contact outside the area, player falls in, so you think penalty, but it's really not. That one was the other way. The body was going out of the box, but the contact might have happened in the box. It's a free kick and a dangerous opportunity still.
If it's over the line, just to be clear, if it's over the line, it's a penalty. So it's very close.
Very close.
Very, very close.
And that's why when Griggs pointed sort of diagonally, again, I wasn't sure, but the free kick it is. Does Asokar have eyes for a surprise at the near post here? No, it's across from Dennis to the back post, and Janssen lets it go.
But why?
I think he thought it took a deflection, and he's realizing now it didn't. So opportunity squandered by the Roots on the set piece. Belmar receives the throw. At this point, it seems like the game plan is clear. Send it up to Galina and hope he can do something with it for the Switchbacks. Now the cavalry joins. Lindley slips it through. Echeverria back for Lindley. Cam Lindley's shot blocked by Tariq Murad. Sebastian Anderson Switches the point of the attack. Edwards, his Rapids teammate, unable to keep it in. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Rito reads the ricochet well. Still Rito doing it himself, earns a corner. A McDivitt corner kick coming for the Oakland Roots.
Man, what an amazing play from Anderson defensively. The effort that comes into making that sliding tackle. And the timing was just perfect. And he gets the recognition as well from Rito right after it.
Dennis curls it. Murad had a beat on it. Was waiting to head it at that back post, but it was knocked along for a corner on the far side. Brought to you by Pikes Peak. Dennis again. All the way through. And Rito keeps it alive for Hernandez. Jose Hernandez steers it to Carlson. That would have been spectacular from Asokar. Didn't quite have the setup off the chest, kept it a little bit too close to the body.
Yeah, I think that was more of a reaction play than something that he felt comfortable with.
Coming into the night, Brendan Burke, a clear message to the team of the importance of this game. They had a 1-0 lead, they let it slip, and now they're down a man, but can they rescue 3 points anyway? Mishi Galina with it. Mishi Galina puts it over the bar.
Yeah, that's something that for Galina hasn't been there tonight. Finishing off the play. The effort is there. Wins a battle or two before he gets the opportunity to take the shot and goal.
The Switchbacks getting ready to make a change. Hearing it'll be Maka King ready to come off. They are working him back from injury. Zach Zandy also working back from injury will enter. All substitutions tonight brought to you by the William J. Havel Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Brendan Burke did pull back the curtain for us, said it would be a pre-planned substitution tonight for Maka King. Well, he made his way all the way to the sideline, and then he was pushed back onto the field before he exited. So Zandy still stays on the sideline. They hold it for now. I think they're just making sure Lindley is okay first after he went down, in case they want to change their mind on the sub. But Lindley just gave the thumbs up. So again, before King crossed the line, which would have made it official, they pushed him right back on the field. So we'll hold off on that for now. We'll see if that happens at the next interval instead. Zandy for King. The plan was for King to go about an hour. Had to push him a little bit further beyond that because maybe of the red card and the earlier injury to one of the other center backs in Erdman. So it's so much to juggle right now for Burke. The plan sort of went out the window the way this game has gone. But the goal is to have the likes of King and Zandy peaking for the postseason. They've been integrating them slowly on their way back from injury. It's good to see that he's been able to carry on this far tonight. Now Mafeka closing in. Lindo Mafeka's shot blocked by Hodge and cleared from a seated position. Desperation from Hodge to get it clear. Hernandez holding up the play, and a free kick coming. It's Belmar asking what he did.
Belmar running into trouble, obviously. Asking him to play defense is not something that he has been used to throughout his career, but it's something he needs to do tonight here for Colorado Springs. And quickly to become an outlet offensively in the counterattack game.
It was delayed by about a minute and 20 seconds, but we see the sub anyway. It's King off and Zandy in. And it's still brought to you by the William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is the third window, right, for Colorado Springs? It should be really interesting because we'll still have just over 10 minutes to play.
That's it. Players out there are the players out there. Erdman came off in one window for Hodge. Belmar for Wheeler in the other. And that one there. So they used their 3 windows with only 3 subs. No double changes, no halftime changes. Played through here, flicked on by Carlson. Loose in front. Asokar had a chance at it. So Brendan Burke, on a night where he had a limited bench anyway.
He's going old school.
Yeah. As an aside, 2019 feels like it was 20 years ago.
Right.
So
Yes.
Ever since they've gone down a man, Switchbacks, it has just been send it up to Galena, hope the rest falls into place. Look at the numbers the Roots have back to defend here, and now they go in transition. Mafeka. Good tackle put in by Echeverria. Otherwise, that might have found its way to Rito in space.
And for Oakland, if you're not able to get that second goal, I think this is something that you're going to be thinking about for the rest of the weekend at least, because here's an opportunity, and they haven't been able to create as many chances. Then again, of course, you only need one. You need to score that second goal. If it happens in the 80th minute mark or in the 90th minute mark, it doesn't really matter as long as you get 2 points. But if it doesn't happen, you know, mentally that's something it's going to take a toll on this team.
And maybe it was a little bit of bad luck involved for the second game in a row. A handball against San Antonio. San Antonio converted by a 1-0 scoreline. The handball on the free kick here. Been waiting for Switchbacks to ascend again. We've seen it time and again from this team throughout the season. They'd hit a 2 or 3 game rough patch and then boom, next game they'll score 4. They'll go on a run of a couple of wins. It hasn't happened that way. You thought they were coming out of it. They had those 2 crazy ties, 3-3 against Orange County and 4-4 against El Paso after they were bludgeoned 4-0 by Phoenix. And then from there, they had that 3-game winning streak. They were all tight, close games, 1-0 each time over Tampa Bay, New Mexico, and Phoenix. But you know what? That's wins are wins. You're going in the right direction. You thought they'd snap out of it, and it's been 3 straight losses since then, and they have only scored now 5 goals in the last 7 games.
Yeah, you come to expect ups and downs throughout the season, but the way things are going for Colorado Springs, you know, when it comes to injuries and, you know, getting into, you know, moments in which you really don't know what's going on with this team because they can't score and you expect them to score every single game.
Memo Diaz getting ready to check into the game now for Oakland. You have to watch who he comes in for to know what Oakland's next move is. Is it going to be for one of the outside backs in Asokar and Rito as a like for like, or will it be a change we've seen Noah Delgado and previously Juan Guerra make for some extra attacking options where he brings in Diaz for someone else and then puts Asokar and Rito on the same side and lets those 2 play together? Whoever comes out for Diaz will maybe dictate the rest of this one.
Absolutely. You know, that's the way to read the mentality the coaches have at any certain point in the game. And I think the players as well understand when you see the modifications, when you see the substitutions, when you see the change of mind of a coach, you know exactly what he's telling you with the substitutions.
Hernandez to Asokar. Janssen. All the way back for Blanchette. Fuenmayor looking for Janssen, intercepted instead by Edwards. Second time tonight, Edwards has gotten a bit greedy, trying to dribble out of the back and giving it away. Now Asokar through to Carlson here, saved by Caldwell. Janssen keeps it alive. Janssen, east to west, lays it off. Here's Mafeka, blocked by Hodge. That time they closed down to Mafeka, learning from the mistake they made in the first half.
Right, yeah, that's maybe that was a talking point over halftime. You know, don't give him enough room. I think they have been able to do a very good job defensively on Mfeka in the second half, but he's, you know, a tricky player, can move around the field.
Here's Rito going left and right, then left again, and plays it through for Hernandez. Still waiting on Diaz to come into the match. The ball hasn't gone out of play since he made his way to midfield 2 minutes ago. A substitution that, again, will be very telling of the intentions of Noah Delgado. Is he going for this one 100%? Or is it like for like and keeping things the way they have been since they went up a man nearly a half an hour ago? Asokar. Hernandez opening up, looking at and finding Mafeka. Now Dennis. Asokar plays the ball in. Carlson had to hold the run to stay on side, and the ball drifted on Asokar. Memo Diaz will eventually get into the game, I suppose.
We've been waiting for a while, Memo. Come on.
He got to the halfway line at 81:30. It has been over 3 minutes since there has been a ball out of play or a whistle. Elsewhere, Detroit and Tulsa went final at 2-2. Not pertinent to the Western Conference playoff race, but a couple of points dropped for Detroit in the East. And here we go. It's Lindo Mafeka coming out. So now we see if that change is made. Will Asokar join Rito on the right side? I'd say it's likely, with Mafeka being the player coming off the field. Sub brought to you by the William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. So if you see Diaz stay on the left side, he's giving out some instructions now to his teammates. How is Noah Delgado going to treat this one? Asokar is turning around and looking at Delgado for instruction. So Diaz went to the right. They're going to keep Diaz and Rito on the same side. Through here to Carlson from Diaz. Carlson leaves it for Rito. Rito plays it back for Dennis. Same effect, having Diaz and Rito on the same side. Still two wingbacks, and it gives Rito a chance to go further up the field.
Right, and he can stay a little bit longer at the top as well.
Diaz to Carlson. It was headed out for a corner instead.
Yeah, it gives Rito more of a, offensive responsibility for him to just be a little bit more present at the top, which is something that they need, and obviously something that will happen in the last 5 minutes of the match, just because Colorado Springs is thinking more about, getting a point out of tonight, and Oakland Roots, they are looking for 3 points.
McDivitt corner kick for the Roots. Dennis curls it in. Belmar heads it clear. Dennis will have another crack at it. Driven ball in, headed clear again, and a foul called against Oakland. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. It's Belmar slow to get up. He came into the match right after Amo picked up the red card as another attacking option for the Switchbacks. Return at Zandy. Up to Galina. Mishi Galina looking through. Hoping to find Anderson. Lindley. Now Zandy. No trouble really for Blanchett. You know, you said it about 15 minutes ago, Jose, that you couldn't imagine this game going without another goal. And we are, give or take, 5-6 minutes away from that, depending on stoppage time. And I still don't feel like this game is going to end 1-1, the way it's gone back and forth.
Yeah, it seems like something's going to happen. And, you know, whether it's a counterattack opportunity for Colorado Springs, or it feels like when it comes to added time at some point, and maybe it starts right now, with Rito coming out and Chuy Enriquez coming in, it's about putting it all out there for Oakland Roots. Go for 3 points. This is your time to get a huge result on the road. So Rodriguez will be coming in as well.
So it's Asokar and Rito off. They take off the two dynamic wingers for Rodriguez and Enriquez.
Yeah, an interesting decision there. You have fresh legs, there's no doubt about it. Now, you know, you need to come in and already be in rhythm so that you can play a factor in the game.
Diaz, good first touch there by Enriquez to bring it down. Enriquez looking for Carlson. Rodriguez on the backside now harassing as Belmar looks to get it clear. Minimum of 4 added at the end of this one, brought to you by TikTok Shop. Barbier. Enriquez. Overlap there from Diaz. Diaz skies it.
Man, we've seen that a lot from Oakland tonight. And it's surprising because, you know, the technical ability for this team is there. They just haven't been able to connect in those crosses where it's not a good service, or a good service coming in and nobody inside the box, or a step too late, Carlson or Formella.
JC Griggs says all ball. Hernandez says to get up. Rodriguez looking wide. Off the chest from Enriquez. Overlap from Diaz. Chuy Enriquez closing in. Now Memo Diaz puts it in front. Carlson went back for it. The pass went to the near post. Not on the same page.
Wow. Great ball movement that time. The overlapping run on the right side was just outstanding. But again, unable to find that connection inside the box.
Is there a hero in this one on either side? 1 point is okay for Switchbacks. 1 point is less than ideal on the Oakland side.
Yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity for Oakland.
And a shove there after the fact from Fuenmayor.
You're not out of the playoff race if you're Oakland and you get a point tonight. I mean, it obviously helps. But because of the way the game played out, I think, you know, it's...
You start doing a lot of rooting now for other teams.
Yeah.
You'd be on 40 points through 31 games. Monterey Bay is on 40, but through 30 games. RGV occupying that last spot is on 42 through 30 games. So now you'd be 2 points back of RGV, level on points with Monterey Bay, and both those teams have a game in hand on you. And that's if they even still earn this point, because this is a dangerous set piece for Lindley to be taking. Arcs it toward the back post. Galina centers it. and it's cleared away by Murad. Blanchette was ready to pick it up, and Murad cleared it out for a corner.
Yeah, it's communication that time. Surprising because Paul Blanchette is a very experienced goalkeeper. But, you know, maybe Murad didn't want to take any chances.
Pepsi corner kick for the Switchbacks. Can they bookend this game with goals? They scored 23 seconds into the match, and now we've got about 30 seconds remaining.
That would be really something.
It would all but seal a home playoff game for them in their last home regular season game this year. Lindley whips it in right at Blanchette. Blanchette gives it right back. And gets it right back.
What's happening here?
This might be the last chance now. It is. Final whistle blows. A goal each for a point each tonight in the final home game of the season for the Switchbacks here at Widener Field. They share the spoils with the Oakland Roots.
Well, you know, an outstanding performance, I would say, from Colorado Springs defensively, especially in the second half, playing a man down for almost the entire second half. They were able not only to create opportunities on the attack, but as well to neutralize what is a very, very talented offensive-minded team in the Oakland Roots. Carlson scored from the spot, and right after that, they were able to concentrate on what they needed to do to get at least a point tonight, and they were able to achieve that.
It wasn't looking good early for Oakland. Give up the goal 23 seconds into the match. Critical moment of the match presented by Centura Health was earlier in the evening, and it came here. When I say earlier in the evening, I mean incredibly early in the evening. 23 seconds in, Elvis Amo with that.
Yeah, very early. A beauty of a goal. A beauty of a goal. The assist will go to Wheeler. It's a long ball from Herdman, clearing the ball away all the way from the back, and just getting an excellent finish that time. Left-footed strike. Obviously, plenty of excitement at that point. Things will change for LP Samuel in the second half, but nonetheless, very important.
And he is still the Better Business Bureau Man of the Match. Read verified customer reviews and check business ratings at bbb.org. As you mentioned, he scored the goal, but then the red card and the handball allowed Oakland to make it 1-1, and that's all tonight from Widener Field. They share a point each. For the Switchbacks, it's okay. They're in good shape to still get a home playoff game. And for the Roots, it puts them in murky waters. They are going to need some help from other teams around the league now, and that includes RGV dropping points and Monterey Bay dropping points as they end the night on the outside looking in still. We wrap this up in just a moment from Widener Field.
Is your animal so photogenic you can't stop taking pictures of them? Whether it's exotic, funny, or just plain cute, we want to share it.
You know, they look like a J. Crew catalog. If these were 55-year-old men just hanging out on a leather couch.
Right. Go to fox21news.com/petpics, submit your photo, and watch for your pet during the morning weather forecast. Pet Pics on Fox 21 is sponsored by Furry Friends Incorporated, the pet food store that comes to your door. We are Southern Colorado. Our stories represent our families, our friends.
Time for me to dig into this burger. It tastes like home.
Our stories affect change.
And the queen of the Blossom Festival is joining me now.
So we're very excited to have you here and learning about all these awesome things.
It feels like you're flying on the air.
That is awesome.
Bringing you the most local news. We are Fox 21, and together we are Southern Colorado.
Fun night at Widener Field for the fans to take in. Terrific crowd here for the Switchbacks' final home game of the season. In all likelihood, they will have at least one more home game come the postseason. Tonight's point will help them in that endeavor. We take a look now at your full-time highlights. Right out of the gates, 23 seconds in, Elvis Amo.
23 seconds and just a perfect start to the match. Obviously with a lot of energy, being the last home game of the regular season. And the fireworks came early for the Switchbacks. A beautiful goal. And at this point, the perfect setup as well to what we thought was going to be a successful night for the Switchbacks. But, you know, the Oakland Roots came right back at them with Rito on the right side trying to set up for Mela, but just a step too late. And that's something that happened maybe 3 or 4 times to the visiting side tonight here. It's Rito with plenty of time, but for Mela in front of the defender, but still unable to finish. Into the second half we go. There's a free kick. It's Carlson who takes it. It was just a few seconds before that Elvis Amo committed a foul, earned a yellow card, and then, because of the handball, gets another yellow card and obviously a red.
Every important moment of tonight's match, in some capacity, involved Elvis Amo. The goal, the foul to set up the free kick, the penalty to set up, the handball to set up this penalty, excuse me, and then Carlson finished it.
Yep, yeah. And at that point, 1-1, of course. In the end, Oakland Roots, they were not able to get the 3 points. They were not able to score the second goal, although they had 57% possession.
And one thing that might make them a bit unhappy, the disparity between shots and shots on target. 16, the difference. Not efficient tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately for both sides. But I think in the end, Colorado Springs, if you'll take this. You'll take the point, you move on, you get closer to securing home field advantage. And for the Oakland Roots, what's next? You need to move past this game and start thinking about earning some points on the road.
And now this is the upcoming schedule this week. Tampa Bay, El Paso on ESPN Deportes. You will be on the call. That should be a fun one if it happens. Blow that hurricane elsewhere. Keep it away from northwestern Florida. But the big one in the Western Conference playoff race, 2 of them, Vegas, Monterey Bay, Sacramento, Phoenix.
Yeah, I think Vegas, Monterey, it's a big matchup and maybe a deciding game right there because Monterey right now with 40 points and Las Vegas with 37 points. They're close enough. Without that, a 6-point game.
San Antonio right now up 1-0 with 20 minutes to go on Sacramento. A point for San Antonio clinches them the 1 seed. And 2 minutes into the game, San Diego on the road is up 1-0 on Vegas in their own tight playoff push for Las Vegas Lights. So you can flip over to either of those right now on ESPN Plus, still in this tight Western Conference playoff race. And in that race, the Switchbacks and Roots take 1 point each tonight from Widener Field. For my broadcast partner, Jose Rodriguez, and the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. A point each for the Switchbacks and the Roots at Widener Field.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.